What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I've got another very important AMC update to bring all of you this evening. So what we're going to be covering in this update are two key important topics. We had some weird stuff going on with Ortex today that I think a lot of people really need another breakdown for. So we're going to go over that in this update. And in addition to this, with the two 10% plus green days that we have seen on AMC over the last 2 days, we are going to be talking about, is AMC ready for an explosive move to the upside? We've been talking about what we need to see out of AMC in order to see this happen. Who is shorting it right now? Are they fundamental shorts or are they technical shorts? And what they would need to see in order to get out of their position and even potentially enter into a long position to not only have played AMC on the way down, but to ride it back up as well. So before we get into all of that information, if you enjoyed the information and analysis that I provide for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people who want to learn. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And in addition to this, guys, make sure you guys check out the link to the free part of the Discord down below, the 1348 strategy. Everybody has been crushing it with it. So if you do want to learn, it's completely free to learn the strategy. If you do want to join Premium, Premium is essentially going to give you access to 1348 alerts on the crosses on 350 stocks in the market. So if you're interested in that, make sure you check it out down below. But AMC today closed the day at $18.94, up 15.28%. A very, very solid day. Now, we have received a lot of great news about AMC over the last couple of weeks. We saw the earnings preview. We saw the debt refinance. We saw the acquisitions of new theater leases. We've seen a lot of great things come out about this company, even including the new Batman NFT, and we're starting to see the price action start to step back up to the upside. But we're going to be talking about, is AMC ready for explosion, a little bit later in this video. But let's get into this situation with Ortex. So coming over to AMC's Ortex page here, let me just give this a quick refresh so we have the most up-to-date data as of the time that I'm recording. This morning, we saw AMC's utilization shoot up to 100%. Now, in my opinion, this is not really a completely validated number yet, even with this tweet right here, and here is why. So we're going to go over this tweet first. AMC and GME short interest in utilization update. Utilization in both GME and AMC hits 100% as security lending activity has increased. Interesting. Keep a hold of that thought right there. We're going to be covering that in a second. The cost to borrow is increasing rapidly. We're going to be covering that statement too, especially in GameStop. AMC is currently up 11% and GME currently up 5%. Now, some people were thinking that these numbers right here, this 11% and 5%, was the actual cost to borrow, but this was actually what percentage AMC and GME were up in their share price at the time that this tweet was released today. Now, this first part right here, security lending activity has been increasing. That's very, very true. When we see the securities lending volume over here, it's on a massive spike. But when you think about the shares on loan for AMC, yesterday we had 121 million shares on loan, and today we're listing it at about 117 million. The other thing that we need to think about is cost to borrow. Utilization by itself is not necessarily as important as the cost to borrow stepping up on these stocks. Now, when you think about the cost to borrow on GameStop over the past couple of weeks, we've seen it significantly step up. We also saw GameStop utilization randomly spike up today as well. The cost to borrow on GME has been slowly stepping up as the utilization has been slowly stepping up too. But when we take a look at AMC's utilization and cost to borrow, back before we saw that other massive run, we saw 100% utilization right here, but the cost to borrow was 19.93%. Now, it's very possible that the cost to borrow is going to lag behind a few days, and if this 100% utilization is a factual number, here is kind of how this has happened. Well, first, we're going to see the cost to borrow step up, which is going to put a lot of pressure on these shorts because if they want to take out new short positions, they're going to have to pay more to do so. But remember the things that I've been saying about why utilization and cost to borrow were so low on AMC over the last couple of months. The institutional purchasing of AMC has been skyrocketing. So what's been happening is that institutions, let's use BlackRock for an example, have been saying, yes, we will loan out shares if there is demand for it, but those shares haven't been going out on loan in enough of a way in order to kind of counteract the vast amount of the increase of shares that are available to lend, if that makes sense. So what BlackRock could have done is said, yeah, well, we were willing to lend these shares before, but nobody's really taking them, especially at this lower cost to borrow, so we are going to pull them back. When you think about the utilization equation, it's shares on loan in the numerator, and in the denominator, it's shares that institutions are willing to lend. What they could have done on a lot of these different stocks is decrease that denominator significantly, which is going to increase the utilization and can, over the next week or so, create that scarcity element and that imbalance of supply and demand in the securities lending market that is going to drastically increase the cost to borrow on AMC and GME. So right now, we're kind of in limbo as to whether or not this utilization number is correct, but we will find out over the next couple of days. The reason why I want you guys to be very cautious about this number is because when we see these numbers start to really turn in our favor, a lot of people could start buying call options. Now, if the data ends up on the off chance that it's not correct, well, then you guys could lose money. So in my mind right here, I'm trying to be cautiously optimistic on these numbers, but I'm waiting to see if those cost to borrow numbers really start to significantly increase. Now, in addition to this, we also kind of had a little bit of some sideshow news from directly from AMC. Importantly, we just hired a new AMC vice president, Ellen Kopakin, and she has a ton of brand management and grocery experience at PepsiCo, Frito-Lay, and Hostess brands. Her first assignment for AMC will be to quarterback the rollout in 2022 of our new broad-based home popcorn initiatives. Remember, we are going to get those the popcorn in the grocery stores this year, and if that is going to be a really, really strong business model for AMC, that's going to increase their revenue and is going to increase their profitability overall as a company. Now, with the price action that we've seen on AMC over the last couple of days, are we ready for an explosive move? Well, let's take a look at it just in terms of kind of going along with the thoughts that we were sharing in yesterday's video and kind of the things that I've been bringing up in the live streams over the last couple of weeks. So, when we look at the 4-hour chart for AMC, remember 1348, very, very strong at predicting a lot of these price moves and the trends going forward after these crosses happen. We saw that 1348 cross to the downside right here back in November, and we've really been on a significant downtrend since then. Once we cross below that 200 EMA, we haven't been able to recapture that level and haven't been able to get back above it. But right now, we are seeing that 13 EMA cross above the 48, and we are slowly making our way up to that 200 EMA level, and that's right around $21.51 on the 4-hour chart. Now, yes, that is a decent sized move away from where we are currently at, but when you think about who is most likely the main shorts of AMC right now, it's those technical shorts that have been shorting this thing aggressively down from that $40 level. Now, if those institutions start to see that, well, the technicals really don't signify that AMC is going to be on this significant downtrend anymore, most likely, especially with the cost to borrow increasing, they could think about getting out of their position. And when you start to see the price run up, hopefully we're going to see some more in the money at the money call purchases to really set up that gamma ramp. But again, that's just going to happen on its own. You can't really figure out if that's going to happen or not. People just need to educate themselves on the effects of options on price. But even with those covering of the technical shorts, they also could think to themselves, if they are technical traders, well, the stock has a lot of upside potential. So not only are they potentially going to play the stock on this downtrend that we've seen back here, but if we start to rip back up to the upside, they could provide even more buying volume to push us even further. So we are going to have that double buy potentially right there with those short-term technical shorts trying to get out of their position, and that buying pressure coming back in if they decide to go long. Then we have the puts getting unhedged for. So those short-term shorts that those market makers are using in order to hedge those puts that they're selling, they cover those, add more buying volume. But then we see more calls running in the money. We see more buying pressure from that. And then when you combine retail FOMO and institutional investment, we could start to see significant buying pressure get put back into AMC. Now, again, that is the most bullish scenario that I see right now. If we start to see the market freak out again, the SPY is kind of having a great time right now, starting to rally up through that previous supply and demand zone level. If we start to see that continue, well, then AMC is going to kind of have clear skies ahead. Same thing with GME in order to have these big price movements to the upside. But if we do see a lot of that downward volatility, then we are going to struggle a little bit of getting above those key levels. Now, the other thing that's important about this 200 EMA level right here is when we go back to AMC's Ortex, let me tick off some of these things right here, is the average days on loan and the danger zones that come along with this. So when we look at the previous time that the average days of a short or a share going out on loan, it's significantly decreased right around January 10th through the 24th. Now, what was the price doing around then? Let's switch this to the daily chart right here. So the 10th through the 24th, where is that right here? Right here. So we're seeing AMC go from about 32 all the way down to 23. Now, again, when we see this drop right here, I think if we spread this out a little bit more, there's another one, I believe, at about 19. Let me see if I can spread this out a little bit right here. Ortex kind of gets a little wonky, especially around the times where I have to kind of record these videos and you have to kind of shrink down the window. But there is another one of these significant drops of the average days on loan right around when AMC was trading around this $20 level. And then we start to trend back down to the downside. So there's that danger zone level at around 1950 to around 2050. There's another one at 32. Then there's another one at 42. So if we start to get that move to the upside, these shorts, even with that increase of cost to borrow, are going to have the pressure put on them yet again. So that is going to wrap up this update on AMC. If you enjoyed the information and analysis that I provided for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people who want to learn. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. So I hope you guys are having a great evening, and I'll see you guys in the next video.